Alright, so this video today is a little different than what you usually see on my channel. This is something I wish I could actually do more of, but I just don't get the opportunity to. There's a lot of quote-unquote tech tubers out there that I really admire and really enjoy watching, and I watch a lot of them. And this is what I'd love to do, just don't have the money for it. Anyway, today I got to build a new PC. I've built several PCs before. Actually, my current workstation I built myself. My wife's workstation, I have a home theater PC and another computer I built myself, and I built a couple others too, going back many years. But anyway, I really enjoy doing it. Unfortunately, I don't get to do it very often because they are expensive. Cheaper to build yourself, but still expensive nonetheless. Anyway, so my friend approached me about building a computer because I just said, man, I wish I could build another computer right now. He said, well, you can build one for me. So anyway, he put the bill for it, so that was fine with me. So anyway, I got to have the fun putting it together, and he gets to have the enjoyment of using the computer afterwards. But anyway, starting on the outside, we've got a Corsair Carbide Series 500R, an inexpensive case that still had plenty of room on the inside, great to do cable management in the back. I have no complaints about it whatsoever. It's cheaper, but that's about it. The inside is actually kind of semi-modular. You can take the drive cages out, and therefore we have more airflow. I'll show pictures of this taken off, but we have more airflow from the top fan here into the rest of the case because the only drive cage is down here at the bottom, whereas by default it's full tower cages here. We took that one out so we could have some airflow through there. Otherwise, it's running a 4790K processor, which is a quad-core 4 GHz processor in a Asus Z97A motherboard. It has 16 gigs of G.Skill DDR3 memory at 1600. Otherwise, for storage, we have 2 drives in there. We have one as SSD for a system drive. It's a Samsung 850 Evo at 250 gigs, and then for mass storage we have a Western Digital 4 TB black drive, so plenty of speed there, plenty of storage. Otherwise, we have for his graphics a GeForce GTX 960 Asus Strix card, and powered all we have a Corsair RM650X that is 80 plus gold rated, I do believe. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to show some photos of the completed build, the way it is, and then also right after that we'll go into a time lapse of actually putting the system together. Thanks for watching, appreciate it.
Alright, it's going to crack this case open. Let's get this thing started. Remove the top drive cage there to get more airflow from the front of the case into the rest of the case. Even though it has that large fan on the side, I always like to get the airflow through there when you don't need all the drive cages. Breaking up that Asus Z97A motherboard, the 4790K processor. Old Hyper 212 Evo, G.Skill Ripjaws X, Hyper 212 Evo is a very popular cooler, but this case will also allow him to upgrade to a water cooling, all-in-one water cooling or something. There's room at the top for that. But to keep budget happy, we went with the air cooler to start with. If you ever want to do overclocking or something, you probably have to upgrade that cooling. Applying a dab of thermal paste. Installing the 16 gigs of RAM DDR3, which is expandable up to 32 gigs on this board. And one of the things I had a lot of problem with in that case. Well, actually with the I/O plate that came with the motherboard, it seemed like one of those really old I/O plates that came with motherboards back in the turn of the millennium. It's very flimsy, plain metal, and it had just a lot of flanges and stuff on it that really got in the way trying to seat the motherboard. So I cut out most of that so you didn't have to sit there and watch me mess with it, but it was a lot of trouble getting the motherboard to seat against the I/O shield. Obviously the power supply is in now, starting to run the main power cables. Putting in the SSD and the hard drive. Running the front panel I/O cables there, getting all those plugged in the motherboard where they needed to go. One of the other things I found out about this case was that the 3 fans, actually 4 fans that come with it, the 2 in the front and the one that goes on the side panel, it actually has special connectors on it that will only allow it to be connected to the fan controller on the case. So I was a little disappointed I was not able to attach the fans directly to the motherboard to have the motherboard control the fan speed. So again, the front 2 fans and the fan on the side all have to be controlled by the fan controller. Fan on the rear and the fan on the bottom were able to be plugged into the motherboard directly. This case had a lot of room for cable management in the back. I was pleased with that because I'm pretty anal about that kind of stuff. So got everything nice and neat back there. We're going to put in that GTX 960. Get my wire ties on there, keeping all the cables clean. One of the components we bought came with a free 120mm fan, so we went and put that in the bottom. All those set to intake except for the rear fan. Try to keep positive pressure inside the case. The other thing missing on this case was filters. The only filters on the bottom for the power supply and that bottom fan. One thing to keep in mind about this particular case is you want to get some aftermarket air filters or something. Again, I was explaining there about the fans that were controlled by the motherboard versus the fans controlled by the case's fan controller. Good news here is that the motherboard did post. We're in the BIOS and we're getting all of our settings figured out for our SSD and all that good stuff. I'm getting Windows 8 installed here. Everything's going well. It's going through all the settings. First thing, of course, is setting up the SSD and the hard drive, and then installing all the drivers. I downloaded all the drivers onto a flash drive from my own computer. Found it easier since one of the drivers that were missing from the beginning was the LAN controller, and so no Ethernet, internet, or anything like that. I think here, yeah, I'm installing the BIOS update. So that went well. Just had to go back and reset some things in the BIOS that got reset with the BIOS update. And then I think she's all done. Thanks for watching.